PNG is different than a lot of other places around. Everyone believes in their school and has pride, but PNG is on a whole nother level. And part of that comes from our values of honor, pride, and tradition. And it's more than just a motto, it's a way of life. And from the earliest days in elementary school all the way through high school, our kids are taught those principles, and they're taught to live by them both in school and out of school. The old saying goes that it takes a village, and we have a great village here in Port Neches and Groves that help every day, day in and day out, to help us raise our families the right way. My name's Dallon James. I grew up here in Port Neches. My family going all the way back to my grandfather, all his brothers and sisters all went through PNG, and most of our family is still here today. I've been married to my wife Laney for 14 years, and we have 3 kids, all in PNG schools. So we've been blessed to be able to go to these schools throughout my life, and now my kids are going to the same great schools. I was fortunate enough to be part of the traditions that make PNG what it is. I got to play football for the PNG Indians. My sister was an Indianette and an Indianette officer, and my youngest sister was a cheerleader. So we know about the traditions that take place in this school district and take great pride in them. When I was a student at Woodcrest Elementary, the principal at the time introduced us to her motto, which was AMBA, and that stands for Only My Best Always. We were grounded in that. As a family, we still live by that today. And that simply means that we expect excellence in everything we do. Every task we undertake, whether it be here at home or at school, we want to do it with excellence. As a parent, we get up every morning, get our kids ready for school, and then get them out the door as fast as we can. Unfortunately, a lot of times that's too fast because we lose sight of what's really important, and that's being able to talk to them. Well, in the afternoons, we're able to sit down with them, spend time, talk at the dinner table, talk about what was good and what was bad about the day. And teachers and kids have so much stress on them today that other generations haven't had. There's constant mandated testing, there's social pressures, there's explosions, disasters. There's all kinds of different things that have affected our district in the recent past, and that affects the kids. And unless you're a parent sitting down each night with your kids, you don't see that firsthand. Our teachers help raise our kids. It's just, there's no other way to put it. And we have to make sure that we're listening to teachers day in and day out. They have to have a seat at the table if we're going to be a successful district. Too often, our teachers feel like their concerns fall on deaf ears, and we have to make sure that that doesn't happen in the future. We have pushed so hard recently to push our kids into college. We have to realize that every kid's different. We want to encourage every student to look inside themselves and pursue educational or career paths that best suit them. For many students, this will be learning a trade. These trades provide rewarding careers and extremely well-paying and necessary jobs. We must partner with our local industry and labor unions to educate students on these options. Failure to identify talented individuals who could thrive in this environment is not only a failure to the student, we are failing our community. In 2019, voters approved a $130 million bond. That bond is going to demolish 7 schools in our district and build back 4 new schools to replace them. This was a much needed bond. Our kids were in old schools, they were costing a lot of money, so it's really great that we were able to get that approved. But what's important is, as the board, we have to make sure that we manage that money appropriately. We have to spend it efficiently. We have to make sure that we can tell contractors what we want, what we don't want, and be able to say no to change orders that aren't necessary. We also have to make sure that the mistakes that have been made on past bonds aren't made again. We want these schools to be a finished product when they're done and not have to spend millions of dollars on them for years afterwards. As Americans, we have certain freedoms. Well, with those freedoms comes a responsibility to vote. And everyone should vote, from the president all the way down to the school board at every level of government. And we want to make sure that it's not only our senior citizens who have built our community to what it is today, we know they're going to go vote. We need everyone to vote. Parents that are out there right now, students, we want to make sure that you're voting for the person that you think is going to give the best voice to your students. Even if you don't have children, or maybe this is your first time to vote, we want to make sure that you're voting for the person you feel would give you the best voice on the board, that'll speak for you and your values. I believe that I'm the best person to serve on the school board, not only because of my children, but also because of the faith that I have in this school and this school district and its teachers. We need to be concentrating solely on those students first and foremost, and we need to do everything possible to make sure they're getting the resources that they need to be successful. In doing that, we have to make sure our teachers are listened to and heard. And that's an important part of what we do as a school board to make sure that we remain successful into the future.